Hi everybody, I'm Julie Kerr, writer and director of the romantic comedy Geek Loves Punk, and I just wanted to make a video on... One second. I just wanted to make a video on how to produce a movie. So I wrote and directed a romantic comedy. It's 90 minutes long and it had a micro budget. Micro budget is a fancy word for not having no money. I had no money when I made it, so anyway, yeah, okay, so I want to talk about what movie producing is, because if you're writing and directing a micro-budget feature film, by default, whether you like it or not, and you'll like it, you're gonna end up producing it as well. So I do want to explain like what producers do, in case there are folks who don't know what producers do. So, because I think the word producer can be kind of an elusive word. Okay, so what producers do is like really, 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 really important. And I remember one of my mentors, his name is Alan, and he's amazing, and I love him, and he's one of my filmmaking mentors. We were hanging out, and he's like 10 to 15 years older than me, and he's really smart, and there's this really amazing movie called The Blob. Great movie, starring Steve McQueen. Okay, so the movie's called The Blob. It was made in 1958. It's starring Steve McQueen. Steve McQueen's probably one of the greatest actors that like ever existed. Yeah, but there's a movie called The Blob, starring Steve McQueen, made in 1958. It's actually a really great movie, and I remember one time I was chilling with Alan, and Alan was like, "Julie, let's sit down and watch this." And what we did was we listened to the commentary track of the DVD, and it was the commentary track of the producers. And he's like, "Yo, you got to hear this commentary track. It's gonna blow you away." So basically, The Blob's a great movie. I think it was kind of an independent film, and so what we heard when we listened to the commentary track of the producers of the film, basically what we heard is producers, in my opinion, in my experience, they like work their butts off. Like they work so hard. What they do is so important. Okay, so and as far as The Blob, basically they gather resources, they support the director, they kind of manage a little bit. They're managing gathering the actors, supporting the actors, and in this case with The Blob. The Blob is a really great horror film. It's about this giant blob, like it's kind of like this giant substance of like, it's kind of like Play-Doh or whatever, but it's like gigantic. And it's about this gigantic Play-Doh-like substance called the Blob, and how the Blob's trying to eat and destroy people. I'm sorry. It's so good. It's such a unusual pitch. But the movie's really good. If you can get yourself to sit down and just watch it, it's awesome. Another old school movie, the original version of The Fly, is really good. If you're going on a kind of weird horror film thing, I don't know. If you feel like binging weird horror movies, start with The Blob, which is really good, and do the Fly, the original Fly. I haven't watched the one with Jeff Goldblum. I know I should watch it because I heard it's really good, but anyway, but the original The Fly is really good too. Okay, but anyway, we listened to the commentary track of The Blob from the producers, and we could just hear how much work they had to do to make this movie come together. The other thing I thought was interesting is apparently Steve McQueen, again, one of the greatest actors of all time, but apparently he was kind of like this daredevil guy who would get kind of bored. So they'd have to kind of like rally Steve, but also, again, one of the greatest actors of all time. So Steve, I mean, his performance in The Blob is outstanding. His performance in everything is outstanding. He was such a good actor. But anyway, they'd have to rally Steve McQueen a little bit. So it's like they'd have to like keep him happy. Not that he was a diva, he just seemed to get bored easily. So the producers had to like, a lot of their job was kind of like juggling Steve McQueen and getting him to pay attention and make sure he was on set and that kind of thing. I thought that was really interesting. They were kind of like babysitting Steve McQueen just to keep him interested in the project because he was such a good actor. They just like, the producers like, we need him in this movie. So they're just kind of like juggling Steve McQueen a lot. And it didn't sound like Steve McQueen was like mean or anything. He just got bored easily. So they'd have to make sure he was on set when he needed to be on set and that kind of thing. The stories they were telling, I just remember the stories they were telling about Steve McQueen were kind of funny. Okay, anyway, so, but basically, the thing that producers do for, like, Hollywood movies, I would say, are actually not necessarily that different than what producers for a micro-budget movie do. So, if I was to, like, to paraphrase heavily, what producers do is gather resources. But somebody who's going to make like a superhero movie, the way they gather resources is going to be way different than someone who's gathering resources like something called The Blob, great movie, or someone who's gathering resources on a movie that I made, which was like a micro-budget romantic comedy, right? So gathering resources in my, you're going to scale down a lot, but I would say you're managing people and you're gathering resources and you also have to be like a storyteller, but yeah, for the most part, you're gathering resources. So on my movie, like I did a lot of this in that I just, what did I do? So in my movie, basically gathering resources, I would call, locations, see if we could shoot there, like bars or like comic shops, that kind of thing. Gathering resources, you audition actors. Gathering resources, you either go to thrift stores and scout for like or whatever. I don't think I used the right word, but basically you're just looking for costumes, props, that kind of thing. San Francisco has a prop house. So I think for one scene I went to a prop house where you just rent a bunch of props and you can use them in a movie scene. So that's an option if you don't want to like buy stuff. And then yeah, so it's finding set dressers. Yeah. So finding set dressers are people who basically put really cool stuff in a set and make it look cool. I'm paraphrasing heavily, but they do. So one of my scenes, the reason why my friend's apartment, she has a really nice apartment, but she just doesn't decorate. So she let me shoot at her apartment, but it was blank. Like the walls were completely blank. So to make the scene more interesting, I found a set dresser who she'd done set dressing for films. So if I'm saying the right word, but basically I drove her to the prop. No, I met her at the prop house. Anyway, I met her at the prop house. She picked out a bunch of props. We went to my friend's apartment. She completely dressed the apartment. My friend was super happy. She's like, I wish it looked like this all the time. And the scene just looked better because we'd done some set dressing. The set dresser was really good at that stuff. I'm okay at that kind of stuff. But she was amazing. So yeah, we dressed the set and then anyway, so producing is just like gathering resources. So you're just kind of putting it all together and then you kind of come up with a call sheet. But even on a micro budget movie, a call sheet is just, you just tell everybody, hey, be there at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. Usually, I don't know, I've never done like an official call sheet because it just, yeah, it's a micro budget movie. I don't need one. So anyway, but on these big budget movies, I know why call sheets are super important. So people need to know when to show up, and not everyone has to show up at the same time on the big budget movies. But on mine, it's like, yeah, all right. But anyway, so yeah, producing is just gathering resources, bringing stuff together so you can make a movie. That's what it is. And the other thing, and I had two producers, like through and through. Heart of hearts, no, three producers. I had three producers 3 soulmates just helping me gather resources and making it happen. No, 3, yeah, 3 producers and 2 mentors that I could just call for advice. So yeah, so step 1 to producing movie really is just gathering resources. Sometimes it's gathering money, but on micro budget movies, it's not gathering a lot of money. But for me, I didn't gather money to make a movie. I didn't do that. I won some money at a film festival. I won like a little bit of money. I'll make a movie about funding your movie. But anyway, I won a little bit of money from a film festival, and I used that to make a feature film. So I guess in that case, I gathered the money. But yeah. Okay, so step 2 to producing, it's kind of the same when I made a video about directing, but to produce a movie, you kind of have to have opinions, but I can say, definitely if you're going to have opinions, just understand, because I'm a director, I don't know about other directors, but directors are kind of like sensitive souls, or I'm a sensitive soul, so yeah, if you're a producer, you're going to have an opinion, you definitely need to have opinions, but just be nice about how you express your opinions. So, but luckily all the producers I worked with were really amazing people, where it's kind of like if you have this director's vision, there's got to be logistical ways you're going to invoke that vision or whatever. And so if the logistics aren't there, if the money's not there, if you want to like blow up a building safely for your movie, but you just don't have the money or the safety, I think you have to have safety as a thing, then the producers kind of have to be like, yo, it's not really, we can't really do that. And the producers have to say, but we could do it like this, or that, so the producers kind of helping you with the logistics. Like, so if you gather resources, step 2 is producers need to have opinions, because producers are helping the movie actually get made and happen. And I think like directors, when you're directing, you're just, in my opinion, for me, you're being like, you're purely just thinking about your vision, your artistic vision for the movie. You're thinking about your artistic vision for the movie, which is great. That's what you should be doing as a director. It's just the producer has to start thinking, okay, this is your artistic vision. Now, how are we going to implement it? And do we have the money to implement whatever idea you might have? For a scene or whatever. So if you have like an action scene, ideally you want to use stunt people so nobody gets hurt. Can you afford stunt people? That kind of thing. If you can, then great. If you can't, then you really don't want anyone to get hurt on a micro budget movie. You don't want anyone to get hurt, period, but you really don't want to be, 1, you care about the people you're working with, and 2, yeah, well mainly that's it. You don't want people you love and care about to get hurt. So, but anyway, so yeah, you need producers who have opinions and who will state those opinions, because all they're trying to do is use logistics to like implement your ideas. So you need 3 or 4 soulmates who are willing to be producers. Yeah, but you need them. You definitely need them. I mean, my movie wouldn't exist without my producers. Tom, Gloria, and Candace. My mentors were Alan and Michael, so there would be no movie without them for sure. All right. Step number 3, if you're going to be a producer, so you're going to gather resources in one way or another. You're going to have opinions so that you can help implement the logistics of getting the film made. 3, producers you are a storyteller. So you might not have written the screenplay, you might not have directed the actual movie, but if you're a producer, you're definitely a storyteller, and you want or have to have those storytelling instincts. And this is where I got really, really, really lucky. And then with micro budget film, everyone's wearing like 50 hats, so to speak. But what I got lucky was the thing where it worked with my producers was that they understood the tone of my movie. So my movie is a romantic comedy. That's it. So it's pretty straightforward. It's make people laugh and ideally make people think. But luckily I had producers where, where it's like, we're gathering resources, and then it's like they have opinions on how we can implement it. And then because they're storytellers, the way they helped me implement the logistics added to the storytelling of the movie, right? So it's like, well, for example, it's like if this scene is supposed to invoke, if it's supposed to make the audience feel like excited, you just want to make sure everything in the scene invokes excitement. So I don't know, like if the scene's supposed to be exciting, I don't know. Yeah, so I might edit that out. But anyway, just like producers are storytellers, so that when producers do gather resources and they do have opinions to implement logistics, that the idea is they're doing all of these things in service of telling the best story ever. So if you have a producer who only cares about logistics but doesn't understand the artsy-fartsy side of filmmaking, that's not going to work. You need producers who understand the artsy-fartsy, kind of romanticized, definitely romanticized. You need producers who understand the art and romance that goes into filmmaking, like artistic romance that goes into filmmaking, so that when they're helping to gather resources and implement logistics and getting the movie done, that they're doing it in service of telling a really good story and creating a really good experience for the audience. So producers are definitely storytellers, and they have to have that artsy-fartsy storytelling element to them in order for them to be fun to work with and in order for the movie to be good. And so I'd say all the producers I work with, Candace, Tom, Gloria, my mentors, Michael and Alan, all of these people are excellent, excellent, excellent storytellers. And they're good at like just making sure the movie gets made and finished and done. So I think I kind of explained what producers do. It's hard to explain what they do, but they're actually really super important with micro-budget filmmaking and filmmaking in general. Okay, I'm Julie Kerr, writer and director of the romantic comedy Geek Loves Punk. And if you like this video, you can like it and click the like button. Does it look like this? Yeah, it does look like that. Okay, click the like button and subscribe to my channel. And you can check out all my other videos on my channel. You can totally go bananas on YouTube. Once you're finished doing that, you can go mosey on over to my website, www.juliekerrstudios.com. You can join my email list. If you join my email list, you get immediately you get access to a free PDF and a free video that accompanies the PDF. And it gives you tips on how to cultivate more love, joy, and kindness into your life every day. I grew up in an abusive home. I'm doing great. I'm happy. I'm in my 30s and having the time of my life. So anyway, so I used to deal with a lot of sadness, and then I got into personal development. So if you join my email list, you get access immediately to a PDF where I give you my tips on how to cultivate more love, joy, and kindness into your life every day. And then I send out weekly content or weekly newsletter to all my email subscribers. So that's super, super exciting. And they're the first to get discounts, that kind of thing when I'm offering stuff. So yeah, check out my website, join my email list, and if you go to my website, you can also go completely bananas on all the free content on my website, like blogs, podcasts, etc. And that's where you can see my movie and my movie trailer. So, all right. Yes, I'm Julie Kerr, writer and director of the romantic comedy Geek Loves Punk. And listen, if you go produce a movie. My call to action is go make a movie. You should totally do it. Send me a link and I'll check it out. All right. Yeah, go produce a movie. Go be awesome. Be good to yourself. And yeah, have the best day ever. And God bless. Talk to you later.